Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of We Need to Talk. It's episode 319. Shout out to my replay gang. Shout out to everybody who has been tuning in, listening to the information, tapping in, making the improvements, making the adjustments, embracing the accountability for your part in this process. What's up, Dawn? It's about to be a short live right here. It's about to be a short live. I actually pulled something earlier, and it's getting worse. Like it's spreading across my back or whatever. So I'm about to crash early. For anybody watching and checking back in, I'm definitely gonna crash early. But wanted to get a few minutes in just to drive a point home. That I actually tapped into when I was on Erica's live. So shout out to Erica. Mito, what's up? Tay, what's up? What's going on? And that was shaky too. The internet was bugging, But shout out to Erica for single Saturdays and stuff like that. Actually was set to do an event with Latasha as well, and the internet, Super L on the internet, messed that up. So we're actually rescheduling that event. So a lot of strange stuff happening today. You know what I'm saying? But taking heed to it, taking the signs. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna try to go check in on some of the HD fam for the night, but it ain't going down tonight. It ain't going down tonight. So all in due time though. You know what I'm saying? We'll be making it happen. But I guess where I want to go with it tonight is to say you can't escape the consequences of the energy you lead with. When it comes to dating itself, you can't escape the consequences of the energy you lead with. And what I mean by that is when you enter into a dating connection, or when you connect with somebody and you're beginning the dating process, the energy you carry with you, whether you're aware of it or not, will yield benefits or consequences. And it all depends on what energy is dominant within you. And when I say energy, that includes emotions, that includes thought processes, patterns, perspectives, history, right? How much of your negative romantic history is present on dates with new people who have no connection? How much of the, I don't need a man do you lead with? And there is a sector of individuals who lead with a certain energy, right? Whether that's expecting things not to work out, expecting a man to fail them in some kind of way, expecting things to go how they were, or how you may have been, how things have been, in your recent history, or in the past of other people that you hang around, and moving. What's up, Rena? When you that's not to discount your experiences, but when you go into something new and you lead with energy that, you know, I don't need you, I could do this such and such myself, I'm self-sufficient, you know, I don't need a man, I'm independent, I'm this, that, and the third. When you lead with that energy, and there's nothing wrong with self-sufficiency. There's nothing wrong with not being dependent on another human being as an adult. I thought that was part of being an adult, but so there's nothing wrong with that. But I believe that you will eventually experience the consequences of the energy you lead with, right? So if that sentiment is dominant in your exchanges with the opposite sex, you essentially leave no space for that person to coexist. So on the one hand, you request something. I want partnership, companionship, right? Healthy relationship, communication, longevity, right? But by virtue of extreme guardedness, you end up pushing away potentially the very thing that you are asking for, because you create no space for it. And okay, good question. Tay says, how do you know as a woman that you're giving off that type of energy? In cases that you are on certain dates or connecting with certain people, don't be afraid to ask a man how your energy's coming off. You know, and I do believe that, you know, as a man, we need to be listened to as well. You know what I mean? I do feel as though sometimes, you know, the narrative can be that we need to listen to our women. I don't have any problem with that. But however, when it comes down to, you know, listening to a man's opinion or feedback or how a man experiences you off rip or in the beginning of a dating experience, you know, there could be something gained there, especially if you may be leading with a certain type of energy if you're unknowing. And then let's say, for example, you know, I know of some women who lead with a certain energy but then can't take the criticism or, you know, discount the critique of a male because they're a male and because they have been hurt by males. Now males somehow as an entire gender cannot speak on how they experience you. So their opinion is discounted. At the same time, you want to be with a man. So why do you want to be with a man if their voice has no value? Do you want a man with, you know, do you want to mute somebody who does not express themselves, somebody who does whatever you say? Then that's a beta male. And how many of us in the room, or how many women do you know who voluntarily would say that their request of the universe is for a beta male? Doesn't work like that. I don't know any women who say off rip, yeah, that's the kind of person I want, the person that doesn't express themselves and doesn't have a voice, and who does not have an intent to explore who you are and be able to give you that feedback and help with the self-awareness and back and forth. I don't want a relationship where I'm with a woman and, you know, she stifles all of her opinions of me, to where, you know, that's like a dictatorship. That's like where, you know, you just here as a prop or some kind of acquisition in my, you know, success journey. Is that what we want? Do we want the male counterpart who has nothing to say? I don't know. So I think that's where we have to be able to have that self-awareness, to be able to know what kind of energy we're sending off. Now, mind you, this happens a lot of times because, sometimes there's a lot of huge gaps. Like, I know some of you have spoken this before, huge gaps in dating time, to where you had a boyfriend maybe at this point, and then maybe 5 years passed, 10 years passed, or something like that, and then now you're back dating again, but maybe there was some issues in that past relationship and things like that. Maybe. So you don't know what's still lingering around, and then you go on different dates and things like that. You may be a little bit nervous about the process and things like that. So there's no problem with sitting down with somebody and saying, hey, I know, we talked on the phone, we got a vibe in person. How do you experience me so far? What is, how do you feel just about how I've presented myself thus far? And it's not to say that this person's opinion now becomes something that you work on, for the rest of your life, or that you take as law, but it's one of those things where, it's information. It's information, especially if they don't have any ulterior motives. They don't, if you got somebody that's just on a level with you, they don't know you like that. What can they really gain by just warping, just throwing something strange at you, or condemning you, or what would be the motive for telling you that you're failing, or you're doing extra bad, or like I don't really see that. There's people out there who might do that, but again, it's the dating process. There's going to be different people, and you get into the habit of just saying, like, how is this for you right now? You know what I'm saying? Just that level of communication sometimes, it opens you up. And again, this is all a practice thing. It opens you up to being able to hear about yourself, and being able to not only just grow on your accord, but also be able to take feedback and maybe add it to your routine of growth, or your goals, or maybe not. Maybe discard it. Maybe it's not common. It's not a common denominator thing. So maybe it's like, all right, well, maybe that's just one piece of it. And it is what it is, because you got there's a savvy and a mastery that comes from being able to discern, okay, that's something I need to work on, and okay, that's just somebody talking. You know what I'm saying? If it's unfounded, then it's not necessarily something that you may have to work on personally. So hold up. I got a question in the box. Dawn says, do you think masculine energy in women is a turnoff? I think that that's kind of a loaded question. I think we all are supposed to have a little bit of the opposite. So I think that's how we're designed in a balanced state. We're supposed to have a little bit. Now, if it's imbalanced, it can be unattractive. Like if there's too much masculine energy, then now we're competing for the masculine space. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So I'm trying to think of some examples, because I don't know. This may not be a good example, but in relationships, I like a woman who can joke back and forth. So if we making fun of each other, something like that, or we're competitive with each other. I enjoy a competitive woman, not in a insane, not in an unhealthy way, or in anything like that, but more so in a way like, okay, perfect example, right? I like it when I got a girl and we go over somebody else's house or another couple's house or something, and we like, look, let's play taboo, right? And as a team, we know we're gonna whoop everybody's ass, and we lead with that. So we talking about leading with the energy. That's the energy we lead with. Somebody like, yeah, come over, we'll just chill, play games. I'm like, what games? We got tab. Oh, you got tab. Oh, bet you about to die. So get everything together. We'll be there, and it's over for you. And then bang on them, go over there, wreck shop, because the connection is real, and we can just bomb on people house to house, and then even with each other on some love and basketball type of vibe, where it's like, if you got similar interests, let's go head to head. If we got retro, we got video games, Super Nintendo, something you want to do a throwback nostalgia night, boom, I can sit with her, she sit on my lap, and I'm trying to get you trying to get me, right? I like that level of, I guess you call it masculine energy, or just the competitive nature. I like that. I can rock with that. You know what I'm saying? So, there, as I said, there's levels to it, and I think that we can. There has to be a balance to it, because again, it's that yin and yang, setup. Like, you don't want it too overbearing to where most of your percentages, so to speak, are more in the masculine realm subject than not, because then things kind of get out of pocket, and that's out of order. But the competitive vibe, and I'm thinking about past relationships too. Even in college, my girl in college, we were competing for GPAs. I was like, I'm gonna smash on you, right? Like, so we were in the same major, so we were competing for GPA. Like, we gonna see who kills it, right? So then we going hard with the studying, finals, all of that. Yeah, and y'all know I won that, but I'm just saying it was close. It was tight. It was tight, but that's the vibe. That's the vibe, man. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing, like, the spark never ends, right? Even if, let's say, long term, give me a girl or something, get married, whatever, 85 years old, we still gonna be playing phase 10. Like, I'm a bomb on you. We're gonna be at some old table. I'm gonna have a phase 10. I'm gonna be like, look, we're gonna go to the sun come down. I'm going. I don't care nothing. I don't care about anything else. We gonna go hard till somebody wins, and I'm trash talking. You see what I'm saying? I'm going super hard, like, so, because again, that keeps the spontaneity, that keeps the spark, that keeps just everything moving. And then here's the other part. Speaking of extremes and imbalances, you don't want it to be a problem. So when it gets over competitive, and I'm a winner, so if I win at something too many times, I'm not going crazy rub it in like that. But if you're like one of them sore losers where, like, now just like Malcolm and Marie, this now morphs into an argument. We have a good night out. We have some gathering, get together, whatever. We play a game. I destroyed you. Cool, right? Cool. We all here, we drinking, we having a good time. And then that night, we slide right into a Malcolm and Marie argument. That means you're putting too much stake in it. There has to be there has to be a level of balance to it, to where we can say, good job, you got that one. Or, all right, what's up, Tony? All right, you got that one. Back and forth, win some, I don't lose, but win some, you lose some, right? And so that it doesn't negatively affect the relationship. We don't want to get it like that, because that's OD. But the competition in the game, for me, that's a must. You know what I'm saying? And so, just moving forward, that's gotta be in the game for me. Like, you know what I mean? You won't be destroying nothing in a bit. Yeah, I see. Damn, Tay a sore loser like a Marlin. She said you gonna lock him out of the box? Damn. Nah, I don't want that. I want it so that, you know, the competitive energy leads to sexual energy, right? That's how I want it to be. So that's the healthy transition, right? Because that can be competition too. You feel me? That can be competition too. So there's a lot of different ways to play with this, and I think when it comes down to it, you know, again, to go back to the topic, you know, what energy do you lead with in that type of situation? If you're a couple, we may be competitive, we may play games and do these different types of things and compete with each other, but it's the love is in the leading with the love, so that it doesn't spark and splinter out into some totally other situation, to where now, you know, by virtue of losing, you feel like I have, you know, wronged you or betrayed you and things like that. You know, we don't want to get into those spaces. But it's always good to have. You know what I'm saying? It's a spice of life. You dig? So, but yeah, we just want to be cognizant, just overall, because I gotta go lay down, man. This is killing me. But you know, overall, when we look at the scope of it, we want to make sure that we are, and this goes back to just healing oneself and making, you know, happiness and peace dominant, and doing what we need to do in order to keep ourselves in that particular space. Because again, in the dating realm, no matter, you know, we have to reach a point so that fear is not dominant. When fear is out of the picture, or at least at very low manageable levels, you're optimistic, but it doesn't matter how things work, because you take a blessing in however things work. You sit down with somebody, let's say you was talking for 3 months, it don't work, 3 weeks, whatever the separation is, or whatever causes it not to work, is a blessing. Because at the end of the day, if it doesn't work with this particular person or that person, you go home to happiness anyway. You're never outside of happiness. The happiness is never in front of you. It's internal anyway. So when that's the case, you know, your energy is top level, so that you can sit when you leave each human exchange. When you leave each human exchange, you can go back home knowing that the reason if it didn't work, the reason it didn't work is never because your energy destroyed the process. Now, if you don't know, or you're not listening to anybody, or you just going haphazard, and fear is dominant, and you sit in these particular situations, you may be pushing back some authentic matches. You may be pushing away some authentic connections, but you'll never know if it would have worked out in a healthy way, because it'll always be in the back of your mind that you may have, by virtue of your energy, pushed that person out of the radius, right? But if your energy is on point, and then you know it by virtue of how you feel, what's your perspective, what are your thoughts that darting around in your head before you actually connect with certain people and things like that. So you know it when you feel it. That's really what it is. Natasha, what's up? Tiffany, what's up? So, you know, I want you guys to definitely keep this in mind and keep the introspection at a high level. And don't be afraid of male feedback, and don't be afraid of asking, you know, how somebody is experiencing you, even if it's early in the process. You know, what do they notice? You know, how does the energy come across, right? And again, it's not putting them in a dominant seat over you, or with the intent of doing whatever somebody says. It's an opening for honest critique. The earlier, the better, because, you know, there's no emotional stake in the game. It's just feedback, maybe from a relative stranger, you know, in the process and things like that. And you may not it's easier to take that than it is you've been actually dating somebody, and then you get that real feedback, and you like, whoa, you may not be ready for that. So work your way up to it by, again, utilizing practice. This dating thing, gain from it, and don't worry about the outcome. Just worry about best foot forward and best learning perspective. Keeping the learning and the absorbing of information, introspection, awareness, added feedback, critique, positive critique, absorbed from every experience, including actually dating and being in that process. Don't let it overrun you with fear, but make it yours. Gain from it, take from it. And you'll be in a much better position, and your energy will, in a very self-generating way, be out of this world. And then, people are attracted to that, once again, as usual, but keep these things in mind. I'm gonna massage my back, and this is crazy. And hopefully I'll be good tomorrow. But maybe this is God's way of saying, lay down or something, take, rest a little bit, whatever. So I'm taking heed. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But I will see you guys tomorrow. Also, check my posts if you want to just pop in. I'm doing, just a little quick mini Zoom, Valentine's Day edition, talking about, just avoiding toxic relationships, things like that. Shout out to all of my Patreon members. I appreciate y'all, coming up with new content soon. Been on a rampage with that, putting out some really dope stuff. So, if you're interested in coaching, virtual education, psychology, purpose, partnerships, physical health, all of these zones, if you're looking for that added help to be able to reach your peak levels in those spaces, definitely be sure to click the link in my bio to check out the Evolve membership, and just every caption you'll see the links put underneath. So happy Valentine's Day Eve to all of you, and I will see you tomorrow night.